Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make Jake Paul's house, also known as the Team 10 house. Here the house is from all of the different angles that you might want to have a look at it from. As you can see, I've tried to get it as close as I possibly can. I'm sure that a few details are misaligned. I'm sure that a couple of things are possibly wrong, but it's as best I can do without actually visiting the house myself. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I've been getting a lot of requests to make it. I don't know whether this is a weird thing to make somebody else's real life house in Minecraft, but I've received enough requests that I actually decided to do it, and it's a really cool house. If you guys enjoyed the video, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. I honestly would. If you enjoy the content, consider subscribing. And without any further ado, why don't I actually show you how to make this thing. It's really an easy house. So if you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some block of quartz, some black concrete, light grey concrete, black stained glass pane, white concrete, nether brick fence, item frames, torches, and some dark oak wood doors. We also need all of the other materials that you can see in the inventory right now. This tutorial will include the actual house itself and the outside of the house. The inside of the house is a completely different story, and I doubt that I will ever make that, but the outside of the house is where it's at. Once you have all of these materials and once you've figured out where you want to make it, and I can tell you this is a pretty big house. This thing will fit into a 32 block coming across the front by a 63 block area going towards the back. So if you want to better plan out the house, feel free to make this very same plan in your world. So I'm going to start in the very front left hand corner of this template. And from this corner, I'm going to count into the right by 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm then going to count inwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is where I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to start off with a row of 7 block of quartz coming up from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to take this 7th block and I'm going to extend it backwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm then going to go up on top of it by a further 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm then going to go right of that by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm then going to go down by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to connect over to the left like this. But I also want to take that 7th block and I want to extend it forwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. And I also want to connect that all the way over to the left too. I also want to connect the 3rd block down to the ground, like this, to form a solid shape. And then what I want to do is inside of this shape, I want to add an additional layer of block of quartz inside of it. So kind of like a big giant N shape, like this. So just inside, reinforce it with a layer of quartz. I then want to add a layer of quartz underneath this. So I want to shrink the area slightly. I then want to grab the black concrete and I want to place a layer of black concrete inside of the empty space at the bottom of the rectangular space that we created. I want to add 2 more rows on top of it. That's 1 row, and this will be 2 rows. And then starting from the left, going right, I want to place a concrete, 3 glass, 1, 2, 3, concrete, 3 glass, 1, 2, 3, concrete, like that. I then want to move upwards. I want to place a row of block of quartz. I actually want to place 2 rows of block of quartz, filling in the balcony area. I want to place nether brick fence going around the edge of the balcony. Now, if you don't like the look of fence, it's really the closest material that you can get to the actual material in real life. If you don't want that though, use glass. That also works. But what we now want to do is we want to place a row of block of quartz inside of the empty space up at the top. So like an N shape again, kind of shrinking the space inwards, we want to place that layer of block of quartz, right? We then, it's the same thing really, we want to add a row of block of quartz coming down from the top, like this. And then we want to split it up the middle with the quartz, like this. Then we want to place an archway shape of black concrete, once again, N shapes of black concrete inside of these 2 empty spaces, like so. You guys can see me doing this, like that. Then we're going to place glass underneath these two archway shapes. These are doors, double doors. Then we want to place torches left of the block of quartz that is in line with the glass on both the left hand side and right hand side. We also want to place item frames around the torches with grey concrete in the item frames, because there are lights on the balcony next to the doors of the actual house itself. That's what those are. Once you got that sorted, this is what we'll do. Come to the very bottom front right hand corner of the garage. It's this block right here. We connected it to the ground not so long back. We want to take this block and we want to extend it backwards by 7 with the quartz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We want to go right 1. Then we want to go up by 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to go right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to connect down to the ground. We want to place an N shape of black concrete inside of this area. We want to place a glass underneath that with a backwards dark oak wood door in that area. And that is actually that's the actual entrance. What we then want to do is we want to, with our light grey concrete, we want to place a light grey concrete coming outwards diagonally from the door to the right. We want to go right 2, 1, 2. We want to go up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We want to go left, and we want to go left until we would connect to a wall. So what I mean by that is if we were to fill in the left-hand side of the building, if we were to fill in just to, well, I guess it's to the right-hand side of the garage, the left-hand side of the building, the part of the wall that would connect to the actual entrance itself. If this was to be filled in with quartz, which it now is, it would connect to it, if that makes sense. We want to create a light grey concrete shape around the door. This kind of looks like a Q shape, like a lowercase q, like this. It wants to look exactly like that. And that area can actually be filled in with your light grey concrete as well. So you can completely fill this in if you so choose. There we go. We want to grab the block of quartz and coming outwards to the right diagonally of the bottom right hand corner of the light grey shape. I know that's very convoluted, but it's this block. I want to place a block of quartz. We want to go right 2, 1, 2. We want to extend this block all the way up until it is equally as high as the rest of the house. We then want to connect it to the house going left like this, and then we want to fill this shape in with block of quartz. So completely fill this in with block of quartz. It's very, very simple. You guys will manage that without any problems. I hope. Fingers crossed. There we go. So far, got a lot of detail done. This is what we want to have at the moment. Now, once that is sorted out, ladies and gentlemen, we can move on to the next bit. So the next bit is going to be to extend the top right-hand corner of the house, which is this block. We connected it all the way over to the left. We want to take this block, right? And we want to extend it backwards by 26. That's a big number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Connect all the way down to the ground. As you can see, this is a pretty large house. And something that you can do, we just have to do it later anyway, fill in the side of this shape. Fill in the side of the house effectively. This is the right hand side of the house. Fill it in using block of quartz. Now this is going to take a rather long time. It's going to take a little while to do this. But it's definitely worth doing. If not, then you're just going to have a big giant hole in the house, which is absolutely no good. But you will be pleased to know, hopefully maybe, that roughly, once this is filled in, we're about halfway done with the structure of the house. Now, of course, there's a lot more aspects to this house. There's a lot more to be done. But the house itself is quite easy. It's a very simple shape. It's a really awesome modern house, but it's very simple. However, there's a big garden. The garden on the back of the house is awesome. There's a nice pool. There's a little bit of a jacuzzi. There's a nice little area. There's a nice little bit of nature. And of course, we have to do the front of the house also. So whilst this is a very easy build, it's also a little bit tricky to do all of the details surrounding it. So we've almost filled in this particular side of the house. We will be moving on to the back of the house once this has been filled in completely. Let's move to the back of the house now. And we want to take the very top of the back of the house, which is this block. There's only one row, it's hard to get confused. We want to move to the right of this block by 11 with the quartz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We want to connect down to the ground, like this. Hit the ground. Take the block that hits the ground, extend it to the left by 1. Place a black concrete, go up by 3, 1, 2, 3. Left by 2, 1, 2, down to the ground. Go left by 2 with the block of quartz, 1, 2. Black concrete, up by 3, 1, 2, 3. Left by 2, 1, 2. Down to the ground, connect to the wall. We want to place black stained glass pane inside of the top of the black concrete. We can even fill in the rest of this particular part of the house to save us doing everything in one go later, because otherwise if we just created the outline of the house, we would have a massive area to fill in with block of quartz, which trust me when I tell you this, because this is how I designed the house. I just made kind of like the outline and then filled it in. That's a lot of quartz in one go. It's not fun. So there you go. You can see that we now have that particular back part of the house complete too. So we now want to take the block that hit the ground. So we had the row of 11, we hit the ground, we then went left. We want to take that same block and we want to extend it backwards by 2. 1, 2. We then want to go right by 1. We want to go up by, let me make sure that I get this measurement right, guys, because I've not listed it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We then want to go right by 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We then want to hit the floor. So hit the ground like that. Take the block that hits the ground and go left by 1. Place a black concrete. Go up on top of that black concrete by 3. 1, 2, and 3. We then want to go left by 3. 1, 2, 3. We then want to hit the ground, but then we want to continue going left by 2. 1, 2. Hit the ground, then take that second block and go left again by 3. 1, 2, 3. Hit the ground, fill in the very left-hand side and very right-hand side of these shapes made out of black concrete in with glass, and place a single glass underneath the top center empty space. We then want to do this. So we want to take the very back bottom right hand corner block of this build, which is of course this one. We want to take this particular block right here, just right at the entrance, and we want to extend this block backwards by, let me make sure that I get this right once again, 1, 2, 3. We want to extend it backwards by 3. We then want to take this block and we want to extend it upwards by 13. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This should make us even with the rest of the house. So we then want to extend this across the back of the build, and we are aiming to be able to connect it to the right hand side of the back of the house. So you'll be able to see that it should connect perfectly in this position. We also want to raise up every single other block that we have to fill in the back of the house. So we want to further extend this backwards, and we want to simply create a wall like this. So we want to create a wall that is parallel to the row that we have on the right hand side, which we can also fill in using our, actually we can't fill this particular part in, because what the point of this is, we want to take this shape that we have, we want to connect it backwards, and then we can fill this portion in. You see, this area is a balcony. You can even place a row of nether brick fence going all the way around this, alternatively glass. And we also want to fill in the top of the balcony, once again using block of quartz. You only have to do a few rows. You can do 1 row, this is 2 rows, and then 3 rows, like this. And then that will give you the empty space that I believe that is actually Jake Paul's room. I think the master bedroom leading out onto the balcony itself. And what we can then do is a couple of things. So now we can, on the very right hand side of this empty space, the block that is connected to like the nether brick fence, we want to go left of this block by 1, the block of quartz, a black concrete. We then want to go up by 3. 1, 2, 3. We want to go left by 2. Actually by 3. 1, 2, 3. This wants to be a double door. And then we want to connect down, like this. We want to place glass underneath the top of the door. And then we want to completely fill in around the door using block of quartz. So completely fill in around the door using block of quartz. And as a matter of fact, you can even fill in the entire rest of the area, like this. And I do also know that they are able to get on the roof. So if you want to place a row of ladders here on the left, just on the balcony, I'm pretty sure there's like a set of steel ladders, which doesn't seem safe at all, that allows you access to the roof. And we can even fill in the very back of this house where we have the double doors in using block of quartz too. So we can just have something which looks like that. And what we can also do now is we can connect this side of the house to the front of the house where we have the garage. So we can completely connect this side of the house together to the garage. That will be this side of the house completely filled in. We also have to fill in the top of the house using block of quartz as well. As a matter of fact, you could even use a different material because I think that the materials do actually differ a little bit for the top of the house. You could use a grey. A grey would look good. Light grey, dark grey, maybe even a dark grey. Light grey might be a bit more fitting. But it depends whether you want to mix things up. It depends whether you actually do ever plan on going up to the roof, which I would not. But I mean, you can if you like. So I'm just going to completely fill this in using the block of quartz. I'm even going to fill in the roof with block of quartz too. Or I might use grey. I mean, it's kind of grey up there now that I think about it. But I mean, it doesn't matter. You can use either material. It won't really impact things that much of it, as it is only the top of the house. Let's not go crazy here. I'll probably just use block of quartz. But anyway, once this has been filled in, this side of the house and the top of the house, we can get to work on the garden. The back garden is harder than the front garden. We'll complete the back garden, followed shortly by the front garden. We'll put some walls on this place, and then we will enjoy our work. So like I said, I am going to fill in the top of the house. I'm going to use block of quartz because I don't really want to use like grey or what have you, although that'd be a pretty nice substitute. You could easily do that without making things too different. And I'm just going to fill this in with block of quartz. There's nothing particularly interesting to say about this particular part of the tutorial. It really is just filling things in. So, like I said, the next part is going to be the back garden. And surprisingly enough, there is a lot going on back there. There's actually quite a lot back there. It's a really cool garden. There's a pool. There's like this weird wall. I'm not entirely sure what that is. There's like a little hot tub. There's a nice seating area. There's a nice little bit of garden and stuff. It's a pretty cool house, it really is. So I don't think we're even halfway filled in with this roof, are we? No, we're not. It's such a big roof. I really should have made this house smaller, but I mean it's a pretty big house. I'm not sure that I would have been able to scale the build down too much without making it just like a tiny sort of house, and then you've got to really compromise on the details. So I've really run out of things to talk about. We've almost finished this part. I'm going to speed this up ever so slightly. Alright, so that is that filled in. As I did speed that up, you may need to pause the video and catch up yourself. Once you've filled in the roof, however, you can hit play and then you can continue on with the rest of us. So now that the house has been completely filled in, we're going to switch our focus to the garden, specifically the back garden. I'm going to get rid of all of these materials, and to complete the back garden, I'm going to need some block of quartz. I'll need some light grey concrete, some white concrete. I'm going to need a little bit of water. I'm going to need a material that I don't have. I need lime concrete or something that emulates grass. I also need grass. I'm also going to need some quartz stairs. I also need the birchwood stairs and the birchwood slabs, but I can't grab everything, so I'm going to leave it at that. So if we come all the way to the back garden and we look down upon it like this, where we have the two single doors on the back right hand side of the house, we want to knock in between the two doors. We want to knock a row in between the two doors, going from left to right. Destroy an additional row in front of what you've done. And then do this one more time. Fill in the last row with block of quartz. And extend the most left-hand block of quartz towards the back of the house by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fill this in with block of quartz, and also do the same on the right. You don't need to count that out twice, and connect it together, like this. So you extended it backwards by 8, it's all connected together. Destroy the center of this. And once the center of this has been destroyed, we can add a row of water on top of the empty space. So we can just add water inside of this like that. If you want, you can fill in the base of the pool with quartz or a white block or something like that. We want to place a row of light grey concrete spanning the width of the pool on the back of the pool. So it doesn't want to be on top of the quartz, but behind it. Take the most left-hand concrete block and extend it backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this. Add a row of concrete. Actually, add 2 rows of concrete on top of this. So that'll be 1 row. Nah, just 1 row. 1 row will do. So a 2-high wall. We want to take the very back left-hand corner of the pool, which is this block, and we want to place a block of quartz to the left of it. And then go left by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. In 1, leave a block, in 1. Destroy the base of this. I'm pretty sure that this is like a little jacuzzi or a water or like a cold water jacuzzi or a pool or something like that. That's what we're sort of aiming for once all that's been done. We want to grab the lime concrete and we want to, this is a bit tricky to explain. We want to take the, take the very bottom left-hand corner of the pool, which is this block. Move diagonally down. Destroy this block, the block to the left of it, and the 2 below, and replace these blocks with lime green. Like I said, it's kind of difficult to explain the positions of those blocks. We want to, leaving a gap of 2 to the left of this square, so leaving a gap of 2, we want to create another square, and fill it in with lime. So if that makes sense, we want to leave a gap of 2 between that square and this square. We want to do this one more time, so leave a gap of 2 between this square and the next square going left. We want to place a layer of squares above these, moving towards the jacuzzi / cold water pool in the same sort of way. So we want to place another layer of squares that are 1 row, like 2 rows away from each other in the same sort of pattern like this. We want to do this one more time, but it's trickier. We want to do the same thing with this most left-hand square here. So leaving a gap of 2, we want to place an additional square like this. But then we want to leave a gap of 2 to the right of it, and we only want to have like half a square like this. It's supposed to be like this. The squares get cut off. So once that's been done, we want to take this most back left-hand square, we want to take this corner block, and we want to count, and we want to dig into the ground backwards, and we want to dig 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to place white concrete in this, that's block of quartz. We want to place a row of 6 white concrete in there. And then on top of the 7th block, place a grey concrete. Move back by 1, left by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to move down by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right by 1. We want to place quartz stairs inside of this. That's a nice little seating area. We want to place, moving down from the, like this bottom corner of the sofa, we want to leave a gap of 2, and we actually want to place ourselves a birchwood stairs. We want to leave a gap of 1, place a birchwood plank, gap of 1, and we want to place a birchwood stair facing the opposite way, like this. So what we now want to do is we want to take the back corner of the sofa and we want to place a block of quartz coming backwards diagonally, followed by 2 grass blocks, 1 and 2, and then a block of quartz, like this. So if we look down at the back of the garden, we want to have something which should look like this, yeah? That is absolutely perfect. So once you've got that sorted out, we're actually going to move to the front of the house now to take care of that. We'll come back to the back of the garden because it's easier if we do things this way. So let's come all the way to the front of the house now. We're going to do a few things up front. First, we're going to need our stone slabs, and we will also need our block of quartz. So we have the garage, yeah? We want to take this particular quartz block on the left-hand side of the garage, this block here. We want to move in front of this. We want to leave a gap of 1, and we want to knock out this block. We want to go to the right and knock out 2 blocks. 1, 2. Leave a gap of 1, knock out 3. 1, 2, 3. Gap of 1, knock out 3. 1, 2, 3. Destroy all of the empty spaces in front of those blocks and place stone slabs. So you want to have a nice clear divide. You want to have 3 rows of 3 with a single gap between. We basically want to copy what we've done now, and we want to leave a gap of 1 in front of what we've just done. So we want to leave a gap of 1, and we want to copy what we've just done. We want to have 3 rows of 3 with a single space in between. You guys can see exactly what I'm talking about, I'm sure. We then want to do the same thing 1 more time. Leave a gap of 1 and create 3 additional free spaces of 3 made out of stone slabs, like this. This will take us to the very outer boundaries of Jake Paul's house, and this is important because what we now want to do is we want to take the very front left-hand corner stone slab, which is this block. We want to place a block of quartz to the left of it. We want to place block of quartz going left by 1, 2, 3, 4. But we want to take the very front right-hand corner stone block, which is this. We want to place a block of quartz to the right, and we want to go to the right of this by 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This 15th block wants to extend all the way backwards. This is going to extend all the way back, and it is going to stop when you will be able to connect it to the series of blocks on the opposite side of the house. It wants to connect to the block of quartz behind the diagonal grass block. So now you may understand why we placed that series of blocks, and we'll be able to follow round, and we'll be able to connect it to the front of the house now on the opposite side. You see, there's method in the madness sometimes. So we want to connect all the way to the front, and once this has been done, we're going to place an additional layer of block of quartz directly on top of what we've just made. Once this has been done, we're going to then move on to the back of the... Actually, we'll probably complete all of the details on the front of the house because there's not many left, and then we'll move on to the details of the back of the house, which there are still a few details to add, plus one detail that I might add that I'm not sure is even still present on the house. We'll talk about that in a little second, but I think we're just about ready to connect back to where we first started. We've just got to wrap around a little bit, and here we go. We also want to place a block of quartz on top of the 2 most inward rows of block of quartz towards the garage, so on the left and the right. We want to place a block of quartz on the front left-hand corner of the house and the front right-hand corner of the house. And by the house, I mean like the walls. We also want to establish where the back walls of the garden are. So, we want to line up with the back of the house here, right? We want to add 2 additional rows of block of quartz on the garden. So, where the back of the house ends, which is on this side, we want to place 2 additional rows of block of quartz going all the way around, because the garden wall is taller than the rest of the house wall, and it also has things hanging off of it, like the garden wall additionally has vines and it has other plant life. We want to stop the garden wall in the same position on this side of the house, which should be here if you can line it up, on this side of the house as we did on the opposite side of the house. So it wants to be even going all the way around is pretty much all I'm saying. So let's just Add all of this in. Then we will create the areas of space in which we're going to plant some trees and we're going to add some grass. And then we can talk about whether you want to make some more modifications. So that's the wall. I did say that I was going to do the front, didn't I? But you know what? Let's do it. Let's move to the front. I did say that I'd do the front. I guess I kind of flaked out on that one. So on the front of the house, there's not too much. There is a pathway leading from the front door, which I've just destroyed by destroying the block underneath it. There's a pathway leading from the front door all the way to like where the driveway is. So we're going to knock out this row, very straight row coming all the way to the drive like this. I'm going to replace a door once again inwards like this so that it lines up with the glass. So there we go. Place the door leading to the front door. We've placed a path leading to the front door, which we've now replaced. We want to use a block that we also don't have. I'm really bad at this. We need oak leaves because there's a lot of hedging around the front of the house. So you can add as little or as much of this as you like around the house. But there's a lot of like hedge and stuff. There's a lot of bushes around the front of the house. So you can add these randomly or more uniformly if you like, but there's a lot of hedges on the left. There's a lot of hedging on the right. I might even cover up the path a little bit. It covers up a lot of the house. Like, it covers up a lot of the front garden. I'm guessing that it's supposed to be a bit more private. I'm guessing that's the point of it. I don't know, but add some hedges on the front of the house. And what I'm also going to do, I'm going to add some bone meal. I'm going to bone meal the area specifically to the right, not really to the left. I'm just going to add a few more bushes like this. I don't want them to look weird. I don't want them to just be like a flat row like this. There we go. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. And I'm going to grab some oak saplings and bone meal because there is like a tree here as well. So I mean, if we just add a tree in the corner like that, well, that's a really small tree. Yeah, we'll keep it. It's fine. And then we'll bone meal. I really expected a bigger tree. And then we'll bone meal that because it's supposed to. That tree looks so stupid. It doesn't even. It just blends into the hedges. It's fine. It's fine, guys. We'll leave it as it is. That's pretty much the front of the house. What we can also do, actually, one thing that we're lacking is if we can add some nether brick fence. This nether brick fence basically fits between the quartz posts that we have on the front of the house and the side of the house. They are going to connect to the back of the house, and you'll find that they'll connect where the wall has been made bigger. So where the wall's made bigger here on the left and also on the right, we'll warp over to the front again. We'll connect this all the way over to the right. You see, these small little changes have quite a big impact, don't they? I mean, now the front of the house looks a lot better now that we've added a little bit of plant life, once we've added some hedges, once we've added some fences. It really does make all the difference. So just to move back to the front of the house, I mean, doesn't that look a bit better than it used to? I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge. That tree's really bothering me. It's so small. Let's move towards the back of the house once again, and I can show you some of the finishing touches that we're going to be adding to this, because we are very rapidly approaching. We're approaching the end here. So we're going to need block of quartz, vines. We'll need some oak saplings and some bone meal. We also need some grass, and we'll also need this next bit will be optional, but we also need some white concrete. So what we want to do is we want to take the block of quartz that comes out of the back of the seating area, and we want to extend that block of quartz towards the front of the garden. We want the block of quartz to stop where the green is. Like where the green stops, like the lime green concrete, we want it to stop and connect to the wall. We want to take that same block of quartz, we want to extend it to the right hand side of the garden this time. It wants to leave a gap of 2 between it and the wall, and it wants to be extended forwards, and it wants to extend forwards until you are only able to, until there's like 1 block gap so that you can actually get up the side of the house. We want to fill the center of this in using grass blocks. So we're going to fill the center of this in using grass blocks because, as I've mentioned a few times already, this area in particular is flower beds. It's trees, it's leaves, it's green, it's all of that stuff. If you want to fill this in more comprehensively, if you want to add more trees, if you want to add more hedge, if you want to add more flowers, then feel free to do it. But a quick alternative is vines and bone meal. That's it will get it done a lot faster. It might not be perfect to you, but it will work. So what we're now going to do is, off the big parts of the wall that lead onto the grass, we're going to vine all of it. We're going to vine all of it, which is ironic considering Jake Paul comes from Vine. So we're going to place all of the vines here, all the way across the back walls, like this, in line with the grass where we can. We're going to bone meal all of the rest of it. So it's going to be bone mealed. You can double bone meal in some places if you want to give some larger grass. If you want to kind of, if you just want to, I mean, I'm actually double bone mealing most of it, but it doesn't matter because I mean it's just supposed to kind of like be, like I said, plants, flowers, that sort of stuff. If you like, add a couple of trees. So maybe here and maybe here, tree it. So bone meal, do your magic. Am I too close? Do you not? Okay. Well, that's a huge tree. That's what I wanted in the front garden. That is way too big. Okay, we'll just deal with it. You know, imagine that's a smaller tree. And that's what I was after. That could have went in the front. That's what I'm after here. You can't get a much smaller tree than that. But you know what? It's fine. So if we look down at the back garden, that's looking pretty good. There's only one thing left to do, and this is something I'm not going to do on recording because it will take ages. We need to just replace the area in the back garden, and it might even do as well to like create a separation between the back garden and the rest of the house. So like if you come to the front of the house, right, just left somewhere up the left hand side of the house, if you create like an iron bar barrier like this, that is where the back garden's going to start, kind of. And if we go on the right hand side, like if we place maybe something like this, maybe if we place like 2 blocks of quartz coming up from the ground here on the left, and maybe on the right hand side too. And then if we create like a fence, like if we use like dark oak fence gate to kind of like make a barrier coming towards the back. This is relevant because the entire garden on the back, it's like paved or something. Like it's a different material. Like it's to walk on it, it's not like grass, it's like stone. It's like some sort of like white stone, some sort of like white concrete. It's something on the back garden of the house, right? If you want, you can just leave the area grass. It actually looks better in grass, I will say. But if you want, if you after a more accurate look, fill the back of this in, delete all the grass, replace it with white concrete. Do this coming all the way to the front of the house where we've created the boundaries. Now, that's going to take a really long time, so I'm not going to include it as part of the tutorial. I'm going to do that, I'm going to be back, and then that will be the tutorial complete, guys. And I'll just show you around the house as I say the outro. So I'm going to delete that, I'm going to replace white concrete. You guys can do the same, get rid of the grass, replace it with white concrete, and I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in just a moment once that's been done. And there we go, guys. I have got rid of all of the grass and I have filled it in with white concrete. I personally think that it looks a little bit better. That tree is huge. It looks a little bit better with grass rather than white concrete, but it's closer to the actual house itself, so it's kind of up to you whether or not you want to follow along with the house, make it as real as you can, or if you want to compromise it a little bit and make it a little bit more to your tastes. I'm going to leave that one up to you. That's not for me to decide. This tutorial is over. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. I honestly would. If you hit that like button, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. If you subscribe, please click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. This build was only made possible by people that were requesting it. So, if you want to see more stuff, you gotta comment down below, let me know what you want to see. Thumbs up stuff that you want to see more, that's the best way to get things made. And on top of all of that, if you want to make any more of my content, I don't just make people's houses that work on YouTube, that'd be a bit weird. I make all sorts of stuff. Real fantasy. You guys will have seen it as I've been flying around this world making this build. Check that out, card system description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.